I looked at the 50 million lottery ticket. I just won and laughed from the bottom of my heart. I called my mother to comfort her and told her not to cry. I would go home and tell her a good news. However, she burst into laughter and said that she was crying with joy. My father was a playboy when he was young. When I was a child, whenever he took me out to play, he would definitely go to find a woman to open a room. He almost slept with all his brothers' wives. I told my mother when I found out. My mother asked for a divorce from him, and my father took a cowhide belt and beat me for a whole hour. He didn't stop until the belt was broken, and threatened my mother that if you want to divorce again, I will beat him to death. For my safety, my mother has never mentioned divorce since then. Now that one of my father's brothers is dead, he can finally take possession of his brother's wife openly. I immediately asked my supervisor for 5 days off. The current 200 attendance bonus is no longer tempting for me. The supervisor was a little reluctant but still signed it for me. The general manager asked about the situation and agreed with a smile. I think your father is not a good guy. Do you need help? I can lend you 2 bodyguards. To ensure your safety, I didn't expect the general manager to be so easy to talk to. I thought about it and still borrowed the bodyguards. After all, safety is the most important thing. In the end, the general manager also borrowed a business car. More than 2 hours later, we returned to our hometown. The small yard was crowded with people, all of whom were watching the fun. My dad hugged his good brother's wife Gao Shuzhen, and his face was about to break with laughter. We will have a wedding in a few days. You all must come. Don't worry, I will raise my brother's son as my own son. His good brother is Lin Zihan. They are from the same village and grew up together. On the surface, they are good brothers. In fact, he hated Lin Zihan especially because Lin Zihan was handsome, capable and had a good personality, and girls like this type. My dad became a foil, so he found an opportunity to get together with Gao Shuzhen. Lin Zihan died only a few days ago, and he married his wife with great fanfare. He was just deliberately disgusting Lin Zihan. My mother stood by with her head down, not knowing what she was thinking. I walked in with 2 bodyguards and a bunch of relatives looked over. Iya was back. Don't blame your dad, he just didn't want to miss it, because your mom couldn't give birth to a son. Your dad just wanted a son to break the pot for him. Iya is still your dad's daughter, and he will have to take care of him in the future. In their eyes, my mom and I are always outsiders and I don't even bother to give them a look. Mom, I'm here to take you away. My mom looked up at me with red eyes. Xiaoya, you have your own life. I plan to find a job with food and accommodation. He pointed behind me and asked, are they your friends? I'll go get them a cup of tea. My dad was unhappy. He felt that I didn't call him and didn't give him face. Get out with your mom. My house, car and savings all belong to Lin Jixia. Lin Jixia is the son of his good brother. My dad doesn't want me, his own daughter, and wants to raise someone else's son. You can get out. The house, car and savings will be divided equally. I stood in front of my mom and looked at my dad coldly. My mom paid for all this. Why don't we divide it? My dad makes 8,000 yuan a month, and most of it is spent on women outside. It's impossible. This is all the money I worked hard to earn. Your mom just does housework. Why do you have the right to divide it? If you keep talking nonsense, I will beat you to death. In his eyes, no job means no income. My mother raises 5 pigs and a large group of chickens and ducks at home, and she also earns a lot. My tuition and living expenses are all paid by my mother. When the 2 bodyguards heard that they would beat me to death, they immediately stood beside me, then stared at my father. I looked at him with a smile. I don't believe you have the ability to beat me to death. When I was young, you often took Gao Shuzhen to play in the cornfield, in the creek, in the woods, and on the grass. Is Lin Jixia your biological son? The people around were gossiping, waiting for me to continue. Dad was so anxious that his eyes turned red. He raised his hand and wanted to slap me. The 2 bodyguards were very powerful and held his wrist tightly. What do you want to do? My father stared at me and I was talking nonsense. I tore your mouth. Gao Shuzhen's face also changed. He tried to force a smile. Xiaoya, you are also a woman. You should know how much damage spreading pornographic rumors can cause to a woman. As long as you apologize, I will pretend that it never happened. I shrugged and looked indifferent. Do you need evidence? Or let's call the police. Over the years, my mother and I have been preparing for divorce. Gao Shuzhen and my father have saved a lot of intimate photos. Of course, there are also photos with other women. I glanced around and looked at my father with a smile. I have a good memory since I was a child. I remember all the women you took me to see in those years. There are several here. Do you need me to point them out for you? At that time, he thought I was young and always used me as a shield. I really saw a lot. In an instant, those who were watching the fun went crazy and looked at the women around them. My father was furious. If there were no 2 bodyguards stopping him, the beating today would be inevitable. The angrier he was, the happier I was. I waited for a long time and finally waited until today. I took out my mobile phone, opened the photos and put them in front of him. I said I would divorce him immediately with half of the property. Otherwise I would show them to relatives and friends. And by the way, I would give some to your good brother and ask him to talk to you in the evening. My father stared at me. After a long time, he took me to the bedroom to negotiate the conditions. The photos must be deleted, and he promised not to spread them before he agreed to divorce. Finally he said, "Inya, you will regret it." How could I regret it? We will live better without him. At least I don't have to serve men anymore, my dad agreed. The onlookers were unhappy. They saw that my dad's eyes were not right. They felt the pain only when the knife cut themselves. What did Guzi Xiaoya mean? You messed with those women in this village. My dad glared at me and said with a smile, "It's nothing, I'm with Ajin. It's also to take better care of brother Han's son. We can't let their orphans and widows be bullied." I couldn't help laughing at what he said. "You are so good to your brother Han. He will definitely thank your ancestors for 8 generations. The faces of these onlookers were not very good. But I was in a good mood, grinning. If there were no 2 bodyguards next to me, I wouldn't dare to laugh. My mother whispered, "Xiaoya, hold it in, go back and laugh." I nodded obediently. Indeed, my dance 10 million has not been used yet. What should I do if I provoke him to death? I took my mother and 2 bodyguards to the Civil Affairs Bureau. The procedures were handled quickly. My father's face became worse and worse because my mother couldn't hold back her smile. "You want to divorce me so much? Do you have someone else outside?" My mother was stunned for a moment, then looked at him coldly. "What's so good about you that makes me sad? I'm not like you. I can get horny even when facing a sow." Gao Shuzhen's face was full of grievances, and she said with red eyes, "Sister, what do you mean? My brother and I are true love. Why do you speak in a sarcastic tone?" I pouted and slapped Gao Shuzhen in the face. Everyone was stunned. No one thought I would do it. "Dad, you have to take care of it. Get rid of your dog. If it barks again, I will go talk to your leader." Gao Shuzhen covered her face and threw herself into my dad's arms, crying. My dad looked at the 2 bodyguards, then looked at my mom. "My current salary is 8,000 and after retirement it will be at least 4,000 or 5,000. And you haven't even bought Social Security. Would you want so many burdens from you? Without me you are nothing." After saying that, he took Gao Shuzhen's hand and left with a smug look on his face. My mom patted my hand gently. "Xiaoya, don't worry. I can support myself. Even if I don't have 50 million, I will support my mom. Besides, I am not short of money now." I took my mom back to the city and returned the general manager's bodyguards and business car on the way. The general manager looked kind. "You let your mom comes to work in our company, handles customer complaints, and answers the phone. She should be able to do it." My mom dropped out of high school because my grandpa passed away. My grandma was sick, and the family had no source of income, so she had to drop out of school to work. In fact, her grades are good, but her luck is a little bad. Although I can always support my mom, I want her to have a new life. "Mr. Lee, I want to go back and ask my mom. I respect my mom's choice." The general manager looked confident that my mother would agree. I was a little confused, but I didn't think much about it. Why did he say such a sure thing? After all, most of my mind is still on the lottery. I plan to claim the prize tomorrow. In the evening, I told my mom about the lottery. My mother was stunned. She checked the lottery ticket again and again. "Xiaoya, pinch me." I sighed helplessly, then pinched it. It really hurt. "It turned out that you were really unlucky for us. You see, after divorcing him, I even won the lottery." I felt that the air was sweet. But I won the lottery before the divorce. I didn't refute, but nodded in agreement with a smile. Yes, he can't deduct anything from us anymore. And we will have smooth sailing in the future." The next day we disguised ourselves and went to claim the prize. It was a 50 million lottery ticket. We paid 20% tax and got 40 million. We bought 8 shops, 2 houses and a car. In the end, we only had 10 million left. My mother said that I won the lottery, so the house must be in my name. I can collect more than 50,000 yuan in rent every month in my name, and I can live a life of luxury just by collecting rent in my life. I'm worried. My mom is very excited. She keeps saying that it's better to get a divorce, otherwise your dad will take a lot. It's impossible that he will never know that I won the lottery. I have never thought of telling him that my dad is rich. He earns 8,000 yuan a month, which is not much difference from me. "Mom, let's go shopping and buy you new clothes. You haven't bought many new clothes in these years." My mom has suffered a lot of grievances for my studies. Not only does my dad not bring the money back, he also asks my mom for money. As long as my mom doesn't give it, he will threaten to stop me from studying and go to the school to expel me. My mom hates him to death. I'm happy today and my mom didn't spoil the fun. She bought a lot of things she likes. While eating steak, my mom said she still wants to go to work. She doesn't wanna. Every day. Even though she spends all her time in the kitchen, I will definitely stand on her side. Now she can do whatever she wants and I support her. As long as she is happy, she can find a partner. It's okay to go to work without pressure, which is different from the hardworking job before. If my supervisor dares to yell at me again, I have the confidence to yell back. At worst, I will go home and be a landlady. I bought a house near the company, and we moved there the next day. More than a year after graduation, my belongings could not even fill a car. Fortunately, the house I bought was fully decorated, and we could move in with our bags. We just needed to buy some daily necessities. My mother was very happy, and she also bought some potted plants for decoration. The whole home became very warm. A month later, my mother got the divorce certificate, and my father immediately took Gao Shuzhen to get the divorce. Marriage certificate. This time Linji came down with a big smile on his face. "Sister, heard that you work at Chen Group. Can you introduce me to him? We will be a family in the future. I will make more money, and our parents will live a better life." I have not had much contact with Linjisha, but I have heard a lot from my father anyway. His shit is fragrant. I am not even worthy of carrying his shoes. I only know that he did not pass the undergraduate entrance examination, but went to a junior college and sold insurance after graduation and said to the outside world that he was the general manager of the South China region. But in fact he was just a salesman. In order to attract business for him, my father bought a life insurance paying more than 10,000 yuan a year, but it was said at the beginning that he could withdraw it when he turned 60, but it turned out that he could only withdraw it after he died. I asked my father to withdraw it, but he opposed. He scolded me and said that he had cheated everyone he could. It was difficult to achieve results now and he had to look for a way out everywhere. I didn't expect that he actually wanted me to help him find a job. What a shameless guy. I smiled and said, "No, our company requires a bachelor's degree at the minimum. I got in by luck. What's more, he is so shameless." As for my mother, it was an accident. When I went to handle the entry procedures yesterday, I found out that the general manager knew my mother and was a high school classmate. I think I was able to join Chen's because of my mother. Lin Jixia looked as if it was a matter of course. Go find your leader and beg him. It will definitely work. If not, you can just endure it and sleep with him. How can you be as shameless as his mother? As soon as he raised his hand, his mother's slap had already landed on him. What the hell, you are so stupid. You can't find a job because you don't have the ability, and you make my daughter beg for you by being humble. If you dare to say that again, I will beat you to death. It's none of our business whether Yingming is doing well or not. Not feeling satisfied after saying that, he slapped Lin Jixia twice. Lin Jixia was stunned. He turned to look at Gao Shuzhen, his eyes full of grievance, and I didn't know what he was feeling aggrieved about. I was quite surprised. It was the first time I saw my mother deleting someone. Gao Shuzhen looked at my dad and asked, "Do you regret it, husband or sister? Isn't Ya your daughter? What's wrong with asking her for help? What are you regretting? You are just a piece of garbage." I slapped Gao Shuzhen in the face, and wished you scumbags and bitches to die. Don't come sticking to us. My dad was angry and wanted to give me a good look. When he was laughing to death, didn't he forget that I still have the handle in my hand? As long as you dare to hit me, the photos of your women will appear on the mobile phones of your relatives and friends, especially your leader. I will send double copies. The hand that had been raised stopped in midair. You wrote a letter of guarantee. If I can't live well, you can forget it. At worst, we will die together. I originally wanted them to fight each other, but he dared to threaten me, so I won't be polite. I looked at him coldly. You'd better control Lin Xiaji. You want to cut off my financial resources. Do you think I will keep my promise? You are right. At worst, we will all die together. I still have 10 million, which is enough to buy my life. At this time, the general manager's voice suddenly came from the side. Why are you dying? No one can bully you and your daughter as long as I am here. I looked up at the general manager. He was walking towards us with a group of bodyguards. He had a very strong aura and people around him were avoiding him. He was so handsome. My dad was furious. His hands were shaking. You dare to cheat on me, you bitch. If you dare to cheat on me, I will kill you. In his heart, he can find a woman outside, but my mom absolutely cannot. Even after divorce, she cannot find a man. The general manager sneered and said, "Beat the three of you at once, beat you hard." Only then did my dad realize that the general manager was someone he could not afford to offend. He slapped himself a few times and said pitifully, "Brother, I was wrong. I was just angry. You said I was a bitch. I deserve to be beaten, brother. You too. Men, you should understand me." The general manager watched him coldly as he continued to beat me. He will beat me every time he sees me in the future. I turned to look at my mother. Her face was calm, but her fingers were trembling. Dad and the other two squatted on the ground holding their heads with both hands screaming, "I was wrong, I was really wrong. Please forgive me. I promise to get out of here. Inya, please beg for mercy for me. Xin, please save me." However, my mother and I did not move at all. More than 10 minutes later, we sat in the business car. The general manager looked at me with a smile and introduced himself again. "I am your mother's classmate. You can just call me Uncle Chun. You can come to me if you have any problems in the future." I nodded obediently. Last night, my mother had already briefly explained their affairs. I went through it again. It's quite a pity. The two people liked each other, but they just didn't say it out loud, and then my mother dropped out of school. My mother didn't fight for it. She felt that the gap between the two of them became bigger and bigger after dropping out of school, and it was impossible for them to be together, and my mother needed money. Uncle Chen's family was very poor. He accepted 20,000 yuan in betrothal gifts and married himself to Yin Wei Min, and when Uncle Chen saw him again, everything had changed. Uncle Chen was depressed for a while, and then he worked hard, got into a good university, and started his own business from scratch. They never met again, and that ethereal feeling slowly disappeared, but when Uncle Chen saw my resume, she thought of my mother again. She recruited me into the company, and asked someone to check my mother. I guess she also played a role in my parents' successful divorce as credit. At that time I went to find a private detective, and he soon gave me those photos of my father. My father would never divorce before. He liked the feeling of having a red flag flying at home and colorful flags flying outside. How could he go from being penniless to a listed company without any means? I also asked clearly, this is not married. He has had 3 girlfriends, and later he felt that women affected his career, so he devoted himself to his career. He is 43 years old now and lives in a big city. It is normal that he is not married. I don't know if they can be together. After all, in my mother's heart, the gap between them is too big. I looked at my mother with a smile and said, "Mom, congratulations on your new life. You can live the life you want in the future no matter what you choose. I support you." My mother's eyes were red. Tears fell from the corners of her eyes. She hugged me and cried. She really suffered a lot of grievances over the years, always endured, and now finally vented it. I patted my mother's back gently and said, "There was heartache, regret and love that could not be concealed in my eyes. I think they still have a chance." When my mother recovered, we were already on the highway. Uncle Chan handed me a handkerchief. It's okay, no one will dare to bully you in the future. My mother's ears were a little red, and she was a little embarrassed. Thank you for letting you laugh at me. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep, giving them space. Shinshin, I can't forget you all these years. Can you give me a chance? Don't rush to answer, we'll take it slowly. Anyway, I am over 40 years old. It doesn't matter if I haven't heard my mother's reply in the past few days. It was Uncle Chan who was talking. Slowly, I really fell asleep. When I woke up, I found that there was light in their eyes and they spoke more naturally than before. When we had dinner to celebrate in the evening, Uncle Chan secretly told me that he had sent a big gift to Yin Wei Min and sent those photos to his leaders, relatives and friends. Don't think I am too much. He has bullied you for so many years, how could he let him go? I blinked my eyes and said innocently, I just sent it again. No wonder someone replied to me. I know there is no need to send it again. What do you want to do? I thought I sent it repeatedly. Uncle Chan was relieved. Good child, thank you. The 23-year-old child was comforted. The next day, my father was beaten by a group of people and was sent to the hospital. I heard that his penis was gone and I don't know who kicked it. Now he can no longer abuse women. Gao Shuzhen was also beaten. Lin Jixuan ran away quickly because he couldn't stand him. I only got hit a few times and I don't know if Gao Shuzhen regretted it or not. Probably not, after all they are true love because you called me and cried so miserably. Xiaoya, please have pity on me. I'll give you all my money in the future, okay? Can you bring your mother to see me? Now I know how good she is. I'm lying on the hospital bed alone and I feel that life is so boring. I laughed really happily. I contributed a lot to his success today. How can I feel sorry for him? I said slowly, you have a wife. What did our past matter? Didn't you two really love each other? Let him take care of you because Min, have you forgotten about beating and scolding me and my mother? You said my mother is a jinx and if you have bad luck, it's all your fault. As for my mom, you often beat us and you also robbed my mom of her hard-earned money. You are lying in a hospital bed now. You deserve it. The person opposite really cried and kept saying that I was wrong. I was really wrong, but there was no ripple in my heart, because I knew that he just had no one to order him around and no free babysitter. He had not truly repented, and would not regret what he had done before. The more miserable he cried, the happier I was. He was not a good person, and I was his biological daughter, so how good could I be? Genes are very strong. Half a year later, my mom officially dated Uncle Chan, and I was promoted from a small employee to a department manager, with a salary increase of more than 10,000 yuan. Uncle Chan gave me 20,000 yuan in pocket money every month, and he also arranged a lot of courses for me to learn. Sometimes he would bring out cases to teach in person. At that time, Uncle Chan would smile and say, Xiaoya, you are quite suitable to be a businessman. Although his main purpose was to find an opportunity to get along with my mother, I also learned a lot. I didn't expect that one day, I would be able to rely on my mother's status. Everyone in the company said that I was a relative, but so what? They just couldn't find the connection and said some sarcastic words. If they could find the connection, they would be more active than anyone else. I could understand and think clearly that Uncle Chan was a benefactor to me and my mother. Without him, it would be difficult for us to escape because even if you won 50 million, it would be difficult. He would pester us and we could not get rid of him as long as we were in the country. He would also harass us constantly. At that time I was planning to go abroad. I went abroad, then solved the problem and finally returned to China, but with Uncle Chan everything became simple because he looked for me, asked me to go see him and asked me to send him money every month. Gao Shuzhen used his salary card to deposit money and paid the medical expenses. He now doesn't even have money to smoke. He misses the days with my mother more and more. I didn't even bother to give up on him, and then sent the recording to Uncle Chan. I haven't received any call from him since then. He seems to have disappeared from our lives. The following year, my mother became pregnant. Uncle Chan was so excited that he hugged my mother and cried out of breath. My mother didn't want to give birth, but when she saw him like this, she was embarrassed to say it out loud. Shinshin, I will always be with you. If you don't want to give birth, I won't force you. In my heart, you are the most important, okay? My mother can't say no. After all, Uncle Chan is over 40 years old and has a fortune of tens of billions. He still needs an heir. Uncle Chan keeps his word. All the company's chores are handed over to professional managers. He only makes important decisions and uses me as a laborer. I'm not stupid. How can I refuse if someone is willing to teach me? I'm even making plans when I sleep. I want to be my mother's strong backing. If she is wronged, I can protect her. She can speak with confidence in front of Uncle Chan. My mother understands me. She asked me to take care of my health and do my best. How can that be? I don't want to live in the shadow of a man anymore. As long as I don't die from learning, I will study to death. I am busy like a top every day. One day after work, Lin Jixia blocked the door of the company and said, Sister, I have been looking for you for a long time. You are worthy of being my sister. The security guard told me that you are now a department manager. My brother has found a partner who needs a good job, a house and a car. Your sister-in-law agreed to marry me. You are my sister, you should help me, right? I was so angry that I laughed. I had no intention of causing trouble for him, but he insisted on rushing over. I glanced up and down, and I didn't know who has such a unique vision to fall in love with him. Are you crazy because of poverty? I am not your sister and I will not give you a penny. Don't come to me if you want to beg for food. It's very embarrassing. Beggars dare to ask for houses and cars. It's outrageous. Lin Jixia was still smiling without frowning. Sister, you want if you don't give it to me, then I will come to you every day. I think your colleagues should be very curious about my poor relative. Dad said that you should find a rich man. It's just a few million. You can come up with it. You want to threaten me with this. If millions of dollars are so easy, I would have become rich long ago. I replied indifferently, because you asked you to come and embarrass yourself. Why didn't he come here himself and let you come? Lin Jixia, can you grow your brain? Your dad was not cheated on by him for decades. Can't you think about it more? I used to sympathize with Lin Zihan, but I changed my mind when I went to college. It's impossible for Lin Zihan not to know that he had been cheating on him for decades. Even if he is a little stupid, he can find something wrong. He must know, but he doesn't want to just say it. Lin Jixia was angry, and the smile on his face was gone. You may not know, we are half siblings. You are my blood sister, so yours is mine. Why don't you give me money? Oh, it turned out to be Lin Zihan. No wonder. I guess there is such a possibility. That's because you are your biological father. Now your family of 3 is happily together, and you still come to trouble me. It's not good to be too greedy. Lin Jixia didn't reply to me immediately. He looked at me with obscene eyes. Inya, if you don't give me money, believe it or not, I will marry you to an old bachelor. I asked someone like you can be sold for 200,000. They can't afford it alone, so they plan to pool money to buy it among 5 people. I really couldn't bear it and slapped him in the face. What the hell, do you really think I'm easy to bully? I looked at him coldly. Since you like old bachelors so much, do you believe that I will throw you to old bachelors and give you to them for free? They shouldn't care about your gender, right? Lin Jixia covered his face and stared at me fiercely. He raised his hand and wanted to hit me. Damn bitch, I talked to you nicely but you didn't listen. You must make me do it, right? I quickly took out the anti-wolf spray from my bag and sprayed it hard into his eyes. Lin Jixia was stunned, covered his eyes and screamed. Took off my 8 centimeters high heels, and smashed it hard on his head. Instantly a blood hole appeared on his head, and blood flowed down. How dare you, I will put you in jail. Lifelong jail. Lin Jixia's screams were so loud that the security guard ran over quickly. I held my shoes in one hand and called Uncle Chun with the other, saying that I had hit someone. I had hit Lin Jixia right on the right side of the company's gate. He said he would sell me to 5 old bachelors. Okay, I'll wait for you. Not long after, Uncle Chun came with a group of people. Lin Jixia was clamoring to call the police, but unfortunately the phone fell to the ground and broke into pieces. Then in his panic he was lifted into the van. Uncle Chun looked relieved and said, "Good, you're not hurt. Don't worry, I'll make him shut up." Uncle Chun treated me much better than my biological father. I know he loves his family, but I'm still very grateful to him. So, I plan to be very good to my mother and his children. They are my relatives. Thank you. I said this very seriously and meant thank you from the bottom of my heart. Why did he say all this? Your mother is going to help me give birth to a child, so it is only natural for me to take care of her daughter. I nodded obediently and planned to treat their child sincerely in the future. The next day, Uncle Chun told me that Lin Jixia had broken both legs, and was thrown into the mountains. Whether he could get out depended on his luck. It was good that he liked old bachelors. Didn't Uncle Chun understand him well? I thanked Uncle Chun and he paid more attention to my mother. Except for work, he spent all his time on my mother. Uncle Gao really came to find me and my mother, but unfortunately he was driven out by the security guard before he even got in the door, and then he was warned that if he dared to mess with us, he would be thrown into the mountains too. Gao Shuzhen went back dejectedly. I heard that he was in a bad mood, so he started a fight with Yin Wei Min, scolding him for being inhumane and for sleeping with his good brother's woman. Yin Wei Min didn't tolerate him either, and the two of them fought until they were bloody, but neither of them would let each other go. Gao Shu really couldn't do anything to us, so he could only vent his anger on Yin Wei Min. If I hadn't wanted them to fight each other, I would have sent them away long ago. On the day my brother was born, my uncle gave me 5% of the shares and let me act as the general manager. He said that I have important things to do now. In the past year or so, you have passed my test, and I am relieved to give you this position. In fact, I am not willing to do it. I originally planned to start a business, but Uncle Chun said that there is a big difference between the general manager and the department manager. You haven't tried it and haven't stood that high. There is a big difference in the decision-making. This is an opportunity. Xiaoya, you have to think about it carefully. There are opportunities at any time in starting a business, but the position of general manager can only be achieved once. Uncle Chun said so, of course I agreed, and then I devoted most of my time to work. When I went back, my mother and brother were asleep. Uncle Chun was cheerful all day long, and he wanted everyone to know that he had a son in his old age. My mother was also very happy. She now has a son and a daughter. Her husband treats her very well, her daughter is very competitive, and her son is also very well behaved. 3 years later, because Ming got cancer, Gao Shuzhen gave up treatment. She had lost her job long ago, and used the remaining money to buy a ticket to come to us. My mother and Uncle Chun went on their honeymoon, and only my brother and I were at home, because Ming was found by the police. My saying that I did not fulfill my obligation of support, I indeed forgot about him because you saw me living in a big villa, your face was full of anger. Why did you treat me like this? Do you know what kind of life I live? How can you bear it? You are my biological daughter, my eyes did not change, my face was calm. I would be angry because of his anger, just like treating a stranger. Don't you know what you have done? How can he have the face to say these words? Because a trace of guilt flashed across your face and then you looked at the luxurious villa behind me. Your chest straightened up again. My daughter's father has been punished. Your mother loves me the most. Please say good things for me. Don't you want to have a complete family? Dad promises in the future, there will only be your mother, and the family will be very happy. He may not know that our happiness is without him. I said with a smile, I don't need to worry about food and clothing. I have relatives. I don't need you to be happier, because you don't believe it. He shouted, I am 50 years old this year, and you are my only daughter. You must take care of me. Anyway, I will follow you. What you eat and what you live. Do you know the sin of abandonment? You have my blood in you. You should be responsible for me. He may not know. It is not that difficult to make a person disappear, and it is also very simple to make him become a madman. Money can do a lot of things. Things that once thought the sky was falling only need a phone call. My mother is married. She is very happy. Go back. I will give you 5,000 yuan a month for living expenses. 5,000 yuan is enough in the countryside. As long as she agrees, I am willing to give her a chance. No, I don't agree. How can you live a good life? You sent me away with 5,000 yuan. I will agree if you give me 10 million yuan. I glanced at him, smiled and nodded to let him in. Zizwa turned around and I contacted the mental hospital. An hour later, he was thrown into the car. 3 hours later, he was already lying on the hospital bed. He wanted to run away, but it was impossible in this life. Gao Shuzhen didn't even look for him. He fell in love online, met in person, and then was taken into the mountains to keep his son company. I guess this is what Uncle Chen did well. Without them, the air is sweet. The whole text is over.